And it's interesting, Grant, because reading and watching Eric Swalwell talk about this, he was in Houston not long ago, and he talked about Australia because his plan, as you say, is to, ban the most commonly sold rifle in America today. And if you don't turn in your legally owned rifle, then he would subject you to prison time. He doesn't say how much prison time that would be or where would actually find the prison spaces, because we've got, well over 10 million Americans who I think may engage in active civil disobedience. I don't know how many of them would, but right now we got about 30,000 individuals in federal prison for weapons offenses of any kind. So it seems to me that Eric Swalwell is going to have to decide if he wants to be a criminal justice reform advocate or a gun control advocate. He can't have it both ways. But he was talking about Australia, because that's what they did in Australia, right? They banned the guns, they bought them back. Then he said, quote, they've had nothing similar to the Port Arthur massacre in 20 plus years. He said, actually, they've seen gun ownership increase for handguns. He said, but the violence didn't go up, so it didn't affect anyone's right to protect themselves. Grant, if you know anything about what happened in Australia, you know that this alone tells you how ignorant Eric Swalwell is on this issue. The laws of self-defense in Australia are such that a guy a few years ago, when 4 armed intruders broke into his house, he shot one of them. That one intruder died. This guy faced manslaughter charges. He was on trial for his life. That happens regularly. There is no real self-defense as we know it in Australia, just as there's no right to keep and bear arms as we know it in Australia. And Eric Swalwell wants to take away this constitutionally protected right from tens of millions of Americans by treating it as if it's some sort of privilege.